I'm a 26-year-old male. I don't live in the same area or state as my family anymore. I make decent money and live comfortably, either renting a house with friends or by myself. My dad still won't stop bothering me about money. I make my own money and pay my own bills except for a phone bill, which they keep low for me to stay on it, but that's beside the point. Every time it comes to my money, he prods me about it and wants to see my bank statements. I'm not the type of person who likes to save much because I'm more focused on becoming debt-free while feeling comfortable in my daily life. I'm not doing badly at all for my age. I make six figures before deductions and taxes, have really good credit, and own a paid-off car I'm still working on. I'm tired of him being on my back about the money in my name, how much I make or how I spend it. What can I say or do to get him to stop without being rude? Story 1. He presumably means well. Maybe he was wasteful with his earnings at your age and doesn't want to see you make the same mistake. In any case, demanding to see your bank statements is absurd. If you want to be tactful, you can say, "My finances are under control. Thank you for your concern." If he persists after this, you can start being more pointed with your response. "You don't need to see my finances. Please stop asking." If he continues despite this, it's time to say, "I've asked you to stop this twice now. You're being disrespectful and intrusive. I appreciate your concern, but I am a grown man. My personal finances are none of your concern. Please stop second-guessing my ability to manage my affairs." How he responds to each of these will reveal his intentions. I wonder whether he means to exploit you financially. In any case, it's probably time to get your own phone plan and start saving for retirement. Future you will thank you. Story 2. Just be honest without being rude in the tone of your voice. It is not your job to make your parents happy. They are adults, not 5-year-olds. Story 3. Sorry, Dad, but it's none of your business. There's no real way you can sugarcoat this. Your dad needs to keep his nose out of your business and anybody else's as well, and stick to his own matters. Story 4. Basically, some good news and bad news. I finally got some courage and spoke my mind. I told him to sit down because I wanted to talk and let him know that I mean it respectfully and that he should respect me as a man. I asked him to let me go and stop trying to prod at me like I'm still a kid. I told him I'd rather not send him my bank statements. He asked again, and I flat out told him I'm not sending them. He responded that he believes I'm lying now and that he's going to tell my grandmother that I used the money irresponsibly. I told him whatever and even mentioned what I make. I told him I never asked him to bail me out of anything and that I've been handling myself pretty well. He seemed heated, said, "Then don't ask me for anything," and said goodbye. I hung up. I called my grandmother, told her what happened, and said to expect a call from him. We had a talk. She said, "I told you it's your money. You do what you want with it, and you're handling your business." I assured her I am straight up working hard and living responsibly. She agreed with what I told him and hoped he would cool off. All in all, I feel relieved, a good weight off my chest. I still feel a little bad that he gets so heated when I try to stand up to him, but there is nothing I can do now except learn and keep improving. Story 5. Dad, I really do not want to talk about money with you. Can we talk about something else? Dad, I really do not want to talk about money with you. Can we talk about something else? Story 6. Every time it comes to my money, he won't stop prodding me about it and wanting to see my bank statements. Why? Your bank statements are none of his concern. Standing up for yourself is not being rude. Say, "Dad, my finances are none of your concern." The end. If he persists, end the conversation. Story 7. No is a complete sentence. If my dad asked to see my bank statement, I would tell him to get lost. In your case, maybe just tell him that you are an adult now, and he needs to trust that he raised a responsible adult who can manage their own finances. Setting healthy boundaries does not make you a bad person. Story 8. You say, "With all due respect, I am doing fine. I earn money and do not ask for your money, so we will not discuss my money anymore. If you do, I will exit the conversation." Set a boundary and keep it. Story 9. Hey Dad, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. In my experience, This is typical behavior from someone either compulsively controlling or trying to make sure you don't make the mistakes they did. Regardless, grace is best. I appreciate the concern is what to say and move on. Giving availability to these inquiries keeps that concept open for years. Keep politely shutting it down and it should naturally stop. Story 10. How does this usually come up with your father? Is he trying to understand if you are saving and investing? What is the context? Story 11. Understand that there is literally nothing he can realistically do to you since you no longer live at home with him. My last visit with my father made me realize that, and it is pretty liberating. He was a tormentor, and now he is a shriveled old man who hates being told no. Story 12. I would tell him that you want to have a nice father and son relationship. This cannot happen if he keeps getting into your business. Tell him the choice is his. You can have the relationship and do fun things, attend family gatherings, go to a ball game or whatever, but the choice is his. If he does not give it up, you are going to distance yourself. I had to do that with my father over politics. We were like fire and water. I said I am not changing my views. You can stop pushing yours and we can move forward. He took my advice and put politics behind us. We are in a good place. Story 13. I am a grown adult. I got this. Then say no to requests. If he keeps pushing, tell him you need to have boundaries if you are going to continue having a good relationship. Story 14. Just be a man. Tell him you pay the cost to be the boss in your own home and you are not giving him the right to see or ask for that stuff. If he continues, tell him to either get off the subject or you will hang up or leave. He might react badly to that, but over time he will get the point and stop talking about it. Story 15. I had a similar situation with my dad, but it was more about the way he spoke to me. Whenever he talked to me, he spoke as if I were still 15, even though I was 25 at the time. I told him directly that I was a 25-year-old man and did not appreciate being treated like a teenager. Since then, we have been able to have conversations as two adults, and I think he realized that I am an adult and we can talk without him addressing me like a teenage boy. Just have an honest conversation with him, and hopefully he will be as understanding as my dad was. Story 16. Laugh and tell him, I'll show you mine when you show me yours. Repeat his requests until he gets the point. Getting upset will only give him fuel. Story 17. Be a man and have a tough conversation with him. Tell him that you are grateful he is concerned about you and that you are living your life. Ask him if he has specific concerns or advice. Thank him. Tell him you will follow up in 6 months. Story 18. Hey Dad, I love you and respect you. This constant prodding into my finances has to stop. I am not doing anything irresponsible, and I have goals that I am working towards. Is there something you are concerned about? We can have that discussion without financials crossing the table. If he reacts strongly like the 4th of July, perhaps Father Dearest might have questionable intentions regarding your money. Watch his reaction and proceed accordingly. Story 19. Judo is better than karate here. Do not defend your decision. Just do not engage with him further about it. What can he do at this point? Spank you. Story 20. Change the subject. Start lecturing him about his finances. Demand to see his books. Turnabout is fair play. Story 21. Being blunt and to the point stopped it for me. My finances are not your concern. My financial decisions do not affect you and are not a topic of discussion I will entertain going forward. Stop asking. If I have to repeat myself, I will take it as a sign you cannot respect my boundaries and I will consider putting some distance into our relationship. The ball is in your court, and the outcome will reflect your behavior from this moment on. Many parents have a hard time letting go of control. It is not something anyone is taught, and letting a child you have raised just go off to make potentially poor decisions is not an easy thing to accept. But men generally respect other men. Show him you are done with the childish behavior by having an adult conversation about it. Do not accept anything less than complete submission to the boundaries you set. Anything less is intentional disrespect and should be treated as such until the lesson is learned. Story 22. He is probably worried at the thought of you making similar mistakes that he did at that age. My dad asks how savings and investments are going when he comes to visit. Not going so far as asking for my bank statement or anything. I think it just gives them peace of mind to know their children are being responsible, living within their means, and are financially secure. Especially if they are nearing or at retirement age and may be questioning if any child will have an expense they feel they have to step in and help with. I would just keep the conversations short and direct. When it comes to being as invasive as seeing an actual statement, no is a complete sentence. Story 23. Read the book, Boundaries. As a general warning, when you start enforcing boundaries with people who are very accustomed to violating them, they usually react extremely poorly. The relationship will take a significant hit for a few years. It will probably recover eventually, but it will take time. I am not the type of person who likes to save much. You should fix this now. Story 24. A couple of things here. 1. The day I learned to be grateful for the valuable things my dad taught me, but also stopped seeking his approval, was a big turning point. Even the stuff that is more an example of how not to be is valuable information. I don't know you or your dad, but you might never live up to his standards. That's how it is with my dad. I don't speak to him or my mom anymore and don't plan to. There was a lot of water under the bridge and I finally got to the point of fine, you do you, but you'll do it without me. Learning not to seek dad's approval is tough but doable. It probably does come from a place of concern. But there's a big difference between checking in to offer guidance and treating you like a child or moron. My dad never got out of the ladder. Granted, I've done some childish and moronic things, but no more so than anybody else. No bastard kids, no getting arrested, no being fired at fault, no wrecking my truck drunk. Nothing like that. It's hard to continue respecting someone when you check every box they expect to earn their respect, but you still don't get it. You're 26, have some money in the bank and a good income. Start planning for your future now. Start educating yourself on finances, budgeting, and saving. You know what's better than $0 a month going to savings? $1 a month. Start small and set it up with an automatic transfer. Watching that number go up is addicting. It means the difference between a car problem being catastrophic or inconvenient. It's the difference between never taking a vacation and once every couple of years splurging on a great trip and enjoying it with the peace of mind that you can afford it. It's the difference between waking up one day and realizing you and your partner want to get married and buy a home, and realizing none of that is possible. This issue with your dad is a great opportunity to learn how to establish and maintain healthy boundaries. You're a Navy man. You have some military discipline, bearing, and tact, right? How would you tell your Navy superior that they are incorrect about a critical fact? Respectfully but firmly. Something that works for me in these kinds of situations is writing out an outline of key points to hit. You can word it however it feels natural. Dad, when you do or say XYZ, I find it extremely disrespectful. I am a grown man and will not be giving you access to my accounts, so stop asking. Brainstorm it in a notebook and come up with your key talking points so that when you have this talk, you know the message you want to get across and you're not stumbling over your words. From what your post says, you've got your life together and are doing what you need to do. I'm proud of you. You got this. Story 25. Except for a phone bill, it keeps their price low for me to stay on it. Get your own phone plan and distance yourself. Cut that tie. Even if it costs you twice as much, it will be worth it. Keeping their price low is not your problem. Story 26. I supported my son financially many times throughout his 20s with around $25,000. Your father should relax. Story 27. Just tell him it is none of his business. Sometimes you have to be difficult to get the point across. It is rarely a fun thing to do, but necessary at times. If you are happy with where you are, then that is all that matters. Story 28. How about having a real, unapologetic discussion about how you are disciplined, responsible, and learning? The only thing is to try to save more for a bigger perspective. It may save you one day. Just be honest, understanding, and figure out why he is so concerned about you. Some people would give anything to have a father who cares. Who knows, you may learn more about him then. Story 29. 6 figures at your age puts you on the upper edge of earners. Wanting to see your bank statements without strong justification is a huge overreach, even for a father. You sound far more financially responsible than most of your peers. It is hard to see the justification from your father's side. Based on the limited information available and being a father myself, he is most likely doing what he feels is best to ensure your future is financially secure. Maybe he has always been that way, but if this is recent, depending on his age and health, he might be having thoughts about his own mortality. Every parent's biggest fear is being absent for their children when they need them or leaving them unprepared for life. It might be time to have a talk as grown men and perhaps put some of his concern at ease. In any case, for him to take such an interest financially without a pending loan or other financial stake is not typical behavior for most parents, in my opinion. Story 30. Draw the boundary and say you are not going to discuss your finances. You may need to say this several times. It will be hard and it likely will not go well, but if this is important to you, it will help you have a better relationship with your dad and with others where boundaries are needed. I was taught this lesson in my 40s while dealing with my parents. It was worth it, but it was a hard road. Best of luck. Story 31. Chances are high he is seeing an opportunity in you to avoid making the same mistakes he made in his youth. If this is the case, start to reframe his questions as questions he is trying to ask himself. It will not always be about money, but understanding what motivates a person to behave in a certain way helps prevent letting it get under your skin. There could also be a generational respect aspect where he feels you owe him for your success, so he believes he gets to control the outcome. He does not, but he is still your father. Story 32. I wish I still had a father to yell at me. I miss my father several times a week and would do anything for a yell. Put up with him. He cares and worries about you. Prove to him that you followed through on your savings plan and that it is not just big talk. I am sure it will make him proud that you have turned into a smart young man with a solid plan for your future. Your father will come around when you step up. Story 33. I am jealous that you have a father who is trying to be useful and helpful. My father? I do not even know where he is. Story 34. All you have to do is not answer the phone. Friend, prove your point to him. Every time he brings it up, just end the call. Story 35. Tell him, I will always be your son, but I am no longer your child. Then do not talk to him until he apologizes. If he never does, then it does not matter. Story 36. I'm not as successful as you, but I have annoying parents. There is no real way to stand up for myself without seeming rude. In my experience, my parents summon me to have a conversation, but it usually ends up with the two of them interrogating, accusing, and badgering me about unimportant things. I'm not out of trouble yet, but the only way I've been able to make progress is by losing my temper and confronting them, which can hurt feelings. I love my parents, but I have deep resentment for their behavior during my childhood that I am working through. Their primary way of teaching and parenting was always based on fear. I snapped at my mom the other day, and she told me I scared her, the same woman who would call me on her lunch break threatening me. I have never threatened violence towards them, but you understand what I mean. In your position, I would tell Dad to back off. What benefit is there for him in looking at your money? If you need advice, you will come to him. Until then, he should keep his distance. Story 37. It is none of my business either, but he is right about saving money. Just have a reserve. Cash is king. If you consider credit cards your backup, everything will feel like an emergency requiring a credit card. Story 38. Earning six figures at your age is very good. He is right. Save money and do it in a big way, but it is also none of his business. Story 39. It might not hurt to pull away a little and be more distant from him. Maybe once he sees life at arm's length from you, he will realize he could lose you altogether. Story 40. He is trying to make sure you are doing all right. Just because you are 26 and independent does not mean that he does not care about you anymore. Instead of pushing back, it might be helpful to sit down and review your financial health with him. Your dad, like me, is old enough to remember the crash of 2008. Do you have a good financial planner? Is your financial plan sound? Have a man-to-man talk with him about your finances so he can have peace of mind and maybe offer you some advice that can only come with experience. Story 41. First, reach into your underwear and check your scrotum. There should be two oblate spheroids that may be very sensitive to pain. If not, continue doing whatever your father wants you to do. If there are two oblate spheroids, then congratulations, you have discovered your testicles. Be confident, and when someone demands something of you that you are not comfortable giving, just say no. Story 42. Have a budget. Become financially literate, including investments and basic economics. Tell your father what you are doing without sharing specific numbers, and assure him that you have it handled and do not need to discuss it further. Story 43. Best guess. He knows how important saving and investing are. It is the length of time, not the amount invested, that matters. He is trying to set you up for your future. He knows that money comes and goes and is trying to help you if you stop being so stuck on your own pride and listen. Current success is no guarantee of future results. You might want to step down from your high horse for a bit and see what he has to say. Story 44. You are probably doing well because of him. Do not forget that. Be grateful, listen to good advice, and learn from bad advice. Tell him that you love him. You only get one father. Be happy yours cares. Story 45. I think your father wants to take advantage of you financially. Also, he is being very unpleasant. Tough luck, Dad, is the option here. Story 46. He is never going to be appeased no matter what you do or say. So the only thing you can do is make clear you do not care. Every day and in every way. I spent 30 years of my life thinking I had to live the right way to appease him. Do not exist. He thinks I am a failure even if I am the King of France. Story 47. That's my business, Dad. If you want to see my bank statements, I am fine with that. I will ask for $1,000 cash up front. Story 48. I have a feeling he wants to increase the amount of bills you pay but is too afraid to directly tell you because he thinks or knows it is too risky. One such risk is you moving out, which is opposite of his goal. He probably has an idea of how much you really make but wants you to reveal it so you cannot avoid paying later. He will probably try to come up with an amount proportional to what you have shown, with an explanation that would make you look like the bad person if you refuse. I would be confrontational about it, like, you keep asking me about it? Why? Is someone in the family asking? If he gives a non-answer like, just wondering, repeat the question, why do you keep asking? Or directly point out his persistence and oddness in asking the same question for weeks as if it were casual. That is how I would handle it, but I hope there are less direct approaches in other comments. Story 49. Honestly, just tell him to go away. There is only so many times you can politely decline before you have to be more forceful. Tell him you are not disclosing it as it does not concern him. Story 50. Bank statements? You want to see my private parts again too. Dad? You are a real weirdo sometimes. Stay in your lane. Story 51. Sounds like your father is likely interested in helping you set yourself up for the future, even if just a bit. Depending on your lifestyle, 6 figures can still go fast with nothing left to show for it at the end of the year. Your father has lived through multiple life-shifting economic crashes. Maybe hear him out. Story 52. Maximize your Roth individual retirement account and 401k contributions. Invest in index funds. Take fewer calls from your father for a while. Story 53. I am a grown adult. I understand that you are doing what you think best helps me be successful and prosperous. But right now what I most need from you is to give me the freedom and responsibility to make my own choices, manage my life independently, and stop treating me like a child. Story 54. Dad, I really do not want to talk about money with you. Can we talk about something else? Repeat these 2 sentences until you or he changes the subject. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.